I never believed in haunted houses. Not really. I thought they were just stories. Camp tales meant to give you a cheap thrill. But then I found one. Or maybe it found me. It all started with a wrong turn. One of those late-night drives where the world feels half asleep. My GPS, usually so reliable, suddenly rerouted me. The voice was calm, but the road it sent me down was anything but. It was a narrow, winding lane, swallowed by a thick, ancient forest. The kind of road that doesn't show up on maps. The time on my phone screen glowed, 12:43 a.m. Then the screen flickered, the battery icon turning a desperate red. And just as the darkness outside felt absolute, I saw it. Looming at the end of the road was a house. A 2-story silhouette against the starless sky, with wooden siding that looked like it was peeling away in long, tired strips. Every window was a black, vacant eye, except one on the second floor. A single window, glowing with a faint, sickly yellow light. It was an invitation and a warning all at once. The iron gate stood wide open, beckoning me in. There was no address on a mailbox, no street name on a sign. It was just a house. My brain screamed at me to lock the doors and drive away, to forget I ever saw this place. But a dangerous whisper of curiosity cut through the fear. Just one look. What could happen? That's the thought that gets you, isn't it? The one that pulls you over the edge. I killed the engine. The silence that followed was deafening. I stepped out of the car, and the air immediately felt colder, heavier. Each step towards the house felt like I was wading through something thick and unseen. The porch groaned a long, painful protest under my feet, the sound echoing in the dead quiet of the night. The front door was already ajar, a dark sliver of an opening into the unknown. I pushed it gently, and it swung inward without a sound. The moment I crossed the threshold, the smell hit me. A thick, cloying mixture of dust, decay, and something else. Something faintly sweet, like old perfume. My eyes adjusted to the gloom. It was a home, or it had been once. Family photos lined the walls, their faces obscured by shadows and grime. A pair of worn shoes sat neatly by the door, as if their owner had just slipped them off. And then I heard it. A loud, rhythmic ticking. I scanned the room and saw a grandfather clock in the corner. But something was wrong. Every hand on its face was frozen, stopped perfectly at 12 o'clock. Yet the ticking continued, a heartbeat in the silent house. Feeling a chill that had nothing to do with the temperature, I called out, "Hello? Anyone home?" My voice sounded small, swallowed by the vast, empty space. Silence was the only reply, or so I thought. Then, from upstairs, a sound. Footsteps. Slow, heavy, deliberate. Thump, thump, thump. Someone was up there. My rational mind was gone, replaced by a reckless need to know. I had to see who was making that sound. I started up the stairs, my hand tracing the dusty railing. The hallway at the top seemed to stretch on forever, longer than the house should have allowed. Doors lined the corridor, each one slightly ajar, offering glimpses into dark, empty rooms. At the very end of the hall was the source of the yellow light I'd seen from the road. The footsteps had stopped. As I crept closer, I saw a figure inside the room. A man, standing with his back to me, staring out the window. I cleared my throat, trying to keep my voice steady. "Hello? I'm sorry to intrude my car. My GPS got me lost." The man didn't move. He stood perfectly still, a rigid silhouette against the faint light. Then he spoke, but his lips didn't move. The voice wasn't spoken aloud. It was just in my head. A calm, chilling whisper. "You're right on time." Suddenly, the air grew ice cold. I could see my own breath fogging in front of me. Who are you?" I stammered, taking a half step back. Slowly, he turned, and my heart stopped. His face, it wasn't a face. It was a blur, a smear of features that were indistinct and wrong, like a portrait left unfinished by a mad artist. He didn't seem to notice my terror. He just raised a hand and gestured towards the window he'd been staring out of. I forced myself to look. Outside, the dark, oppressive forest was gone. In its place was a quiet suburban neighborhood. Streetlights cast a warm, orange glow on manicured lawns and parked cars. Normal houses with lights on inside lined the street. It was a peaceful, idyllic scene that made no sense. "They won't remember," the blurred man said, his internal voice soft and sorrowful. "When morning comes, the house disappears, and anyone still inside becomes part of it, part of the collection." My blood ran cold. The word collection echoed in my mind. The photos on the wall, the shoes by the door. Were they trophies? I started backing away, my eyes wide with panic. The lights in the hallway began to flicker violently. And then the hallway itself began to change. It stretched, the far end receding from me like a nightmare. The doors that had been ajar began to slam shut, one by one. Bang, bang, a final definitive series of traps snapping closed. I didn't need another invitation. I turned and ran. I sprinted back the way I came, but the house was fighting me. It was alive, a malevolent, shifting labyrinth. Rooms appeared where they hadn't been before. A nursery with an empty rocking chair. A dining room set for a feast that never happened. The layout twisted and contorted around me, trying to confuse me, to keep me. I finally saw the front door and lunged for it, my hands fumbling for the knob. It wouldn't turn. Locked. Trapped. The ticking of the clock grew louder, faster. A frantic countdown. Tick. 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 It was inside my head, drilling into my skull. Just then, my phone buzzed in my pocket. I pulled it out. 1% battery. A single notification glowed on the screen. It was from my GPS app. It read, "You have arrived." And then the man's voice echoed through the house, seeming to come from the walls themselves. "You can leave," it whispered, "but someone has to stay." I spun around, expecting to see the blurred man behind me, but the hallway was empty, except for a large, ornate mirror hanging on the wall. I stared into it, and my breath caught in my throat. I was frozen in terror, but my reflection wasn't. It wasn't mirroring my movements. It stood there separate from me, and a slow, terrible smile spread across its face. A smile I'd never made in my life. And then, my reflection took a step forward, out of the mirror, into the room. And everything went black. I woke up with a jolt, sitting upright in the driver's seat of my car. Bright morning sunlight was streaming through the windshield, dappling through the leaves of the trees. My neck was stiff. My phone was dead. I looked around. I was on the side of that same narrow, forested road. But there was no house, no gate, just an empty clearing where it had stood. It was gone. I let out a shaky laugh, a wave of relief washing over me. It was just a dream, a terrifyingly vivid, stress-induced nightmare. That's all. I started the car, ready to get as far away from this place as possible. Later that day, back in the safety of my apartment, I plugged in my dashcam just to clear the memory card. And I saw it. But the me that is telling you this story, the me that drives around during the day and tries to pretend everything is normal, I'm not the one who left. The real me is still inside. I don't drive at night anymore. But sometimes when I open my GPS, a new destination is already programmed in, waiting for me. Just one word: house.